And here we go. Welcome to the first episode of the 2A Collective podcast. Maybe we won't even call it an episode, more of an introduction. I'll keep it short and sweet. Just been tinkering around with some audio and video settings here. I wanted to take a second to introduce myself and explain a little bit about what we're doing and what we're all about. My name is Zeke Fredrickson. I'm the owner of Fredrickson Arms, a Second Amendment apparel and advocacy company out of Lehigh, Utah. And I am the host of the 2A Collective podcast. I'm exceptionally excited about the podcast and the lineup that we have. The biggest thing that I hope to provide really, and the goal behind this is once I started reaching out to people, I was blown away by the amount of positive feedback that I received and the amount of people that really were excited to involve themselves in the project and involve themselves even further in the 2A community, which just shows kind of how strong we are, really, which is great. If you guys want to check out our website, fredricksonarms.com, the majority of those proceeds will go to funding this show and some of the great things that we have going on and coming up. And I really look forward to sharing all of those with you. There were so many different stories and varying knowledge, and I think it's important to share that. And I'm excited to provide that opportunity to people, and I'm excited to see where this all kind of goes. I certainly am going to embrace this as a learning opportunity. I won't lie, I don't know everything about anything. The goal is to host a show that provides uninhibited and uncensored access to the 2A community. I think that's really what it's all about. And I'm exceptionally excited to see all the different varying stories and all the knowledge and experience that folks can bring. And I'm excited to be able to share that with everybody else. And I think that's the biggest motivator behind what I'm doing, is providing a platform for people to be heard. I think we all just get so wrapped up in our daily lives that, for me, firearms kind of was a hobby before I started Fredrickson Arms, and have entered into the career side of things, and how quickly we just get lost in the daily routine and the daily grind, and to provide a little respite from that, to be able to share other people's and my own experiences and knowledge. I just think it's an awesome opportunity, and I look forward to seeing where this leads. I grew up in Massachusetts, and the political climate out there is very different from the one I currently live in now, which is Utah. And to think that, gun owners have been just grouped into this mass of misunderstanding is just so unfortunate. And, I really think it's our prerogative to shed light on the other side of that, what it's like to be productive and reasonably minded and law-abiding citizen who also happens to either recreationally shoot or choose to carry for protection. I'm certainly curious what arguments we'll hear, on either side of the aisle. The Second Amendment was ratified in 1791, and the argument is, well, most people should carry around muskets then, because that's the firearm of, really the only firearms back in the day. Just to think about how far we've come as a society, and with just scientific inventions and evolution, and just how things have evolved naturally or with a little coaxing from mankind. But there were laws and bills and policies and procedures that were implemented. And to think that the idea is not to accept any evolution is just mind-blowing to me. I mean, it just doesn't make sense. If you think about it, the Postal Service was created in 1775, and in 1792 it was made a permanent fixture in America to serve citizens and provide them. A lot of the times back in the day, it was for political gain as well. It was a fairly commonsensical way to get information to the populace. But the idea being, okay, well, we've created the postal service, but we can only use the postal routes and the postal roads that were created in 1787. That wouldn't work. Like, if we stay stuck, then and not accept any sort of evolution in any of these processes, we're pretty screwed. On behalf of the 2A community, we just need more people sitting at the table, right? So when they decided in the NFA, the National Firearms Act, that, silencers would be included in that, I just don't think there were enough folks into suppressors and silencers sitting at the table to get that technology, that one thing, left out of the NFA. And, for example, if you go overseas, right, you want to go hunting in Africa, it's so much harder to get a rifle there than it is here, right? So we have ease of access, so to speak, in some states, a lot of states, to acquire a firearm. But a silencer, you have the $200 tax stamp, you have the waiting period, which I hear is no longer 6 months, I heard one place they were doing it same day, honestly, which is pretty awesome. But in Africa, everything's reversed. So it's harder to get a rifle, but you walk into a sporting goods store and you leave with a suppressor the same day. And I know we have quite a few things going on right now and quite a few propositions and bills being proposed to tackle that. And I just think, as a community, we can show up and we can argue and we can fight for these things. And I think one of the greatest things that we can do is network and communicate. And with this podcast, my hope is with the growth of this show, that we can all network, we can all reach out, we can all hear different perspectives, and we can all kind of strengthen ourselves within that community. And I think that it's going to be quite an interesting experience. And I don't want to spoil too many of the surprises, but I really am very excited for who we have coming on the show and all the different perspectives. And I look forward to sharing that with you. I mean, all things Second Amendment. Let's talk about these things. Let's dig into it. Let's hear from the scholars, the activists, the hobbyists, the trainers, the RSOs, the collectors. I mean, let's hear from everybody and get everybody's perspective and get a little respite from the daily grind and get back to, for me, what it's really all about, which is fundamental freedoms and arguing for our rights. And again, getting back to that evolution, things evolve. Like, there's no way we were going to stick with muskets and packing powder and call that good and not evolve with the times. And I think, we can come together as a community and we can really argue for, in a very simple, commonsensical way, argue for where we stand and argue for our rights. So I appreciate you tuning in. That's all for now. Just wanted to hop on and introduce myself and kind of get you guys excited for what's to come. I sure am. But again, check us out online, fredericksonarms.com. Again, it goes a long way to helping fund this show. And stay tuned for, we'll call this the introduction. Stay tuned for episode 1. I'll be filming that March 28th. Today's the 22nd, so it's coming up. And super exciting guest on that episode. Again, I won't ruin too many surprises for you, but stay tuned and we got a lot more coming your way.